Welcome, everyone. It is Saturday morning, and
Good
it's your
morning,
favorite.
everybody.
It's
Good
your
morning.
favorite metalhead duo. uh,
I hope we're everybody's favorite metalhead duo. I hope we'll get to that point eventually if we're not yet. I hope
yeah,
so.
right.
Hopefully we're working our way towards that.
We're gonna write our own music to it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. We have our own original score.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, we are. That'll be awesome.
awesome.
How are we this morning, Jason? How are we?
I'm good, man. I'm actually just making sure that that everything pops up like it's supposed to, since we were having some issues in the beginning. So, but
Yeah.
it looks like it connected us live everywhere, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's good to
Uh,
know that everyone's going to be out there, be able to hear us if they decide they want to check us out this morning. Welcome to everybody who is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever one is, to everybody, wherever they are listening this morning. Good morning here in America. Good afternoon and good evening everywhere else. Hope everybody had a great week and hope everybody's ready for the next couple hours of metal news and all the good stuff we do here at the Metalheads Unite podcast.
And just a quick shout out before I forget. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there listening. I know that's coming up
Absolutely.
tomorrow, so
Yep.
hope you guys have a great day and a great weekend. I'll be working, unfortunately, but
Oh, yeah, you're going to be working?
yeah. So is life.
Ah, damn it. Well, the bills don't pay themselves, unfortunately.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be nice if they did. Then we could just sit on here all day and talk about music, but they
We
don't. They
just
don't pay themselves.
we just take people down a metalhead rabbit hole all day long.
Yeah,
Uh,
we could definitely do that. There are
man.
definitely worse places you could go. There are definitely worse places.
Right? Uh, really dislike these. Okay. Uh, goody.
Well, David, you could always check us out, after the fact if you don't like live.
Yeah. You could,
You could always watch the rebroadcast if you want
yeah.
to, man.
And
You
then
don't got to
fast,
hang out with here, hang
and
out
then
here with us live.
and then you can you can fast forward through shit you don't want to hear. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
like all like
It basically be like watching us on DVR.
yeah
like
yeah
I do
like
like I do with my hockey games. I just skip through all the commercials.
yeah. Or
Thankfully, we don't have any commercials though.
right
We don't
yeah.
have any of those.
So if you don't like me, you can just skip through my shit and listen to Chris, or vice versa, whatever.
Vice versa. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Of course, the messed up thing is if we both talked for the same at the exact same time for 2 hours, people wouldn't know what the hell to do.
Right, they'd be missing out.
Oh shit! All right. Well,
Yeah, let's jump into this thing,
yeah.
I guess. So
Without further ado, let's hop into the current events of the week. Jason, you want to lead off, my friend?
yeah, we always going to lead off with the birthdays, so I guess I'll just kick off with that. We had
Sound good.
we had June 13th. We had Howard Leese. He was American guitarist, record producer, and musical director for Heart. We have Val Leala, which I'm probably killed that name because they're Finnish, but they were vocalists for Sentenced and Poison Black. Um,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and June 14th, we had Stephen John Hunter, guitarist for Alice Cooper. Probably not the current one, since we know Nita Strauss does that, but King Diamond, or some people know him as Kim Peterson, whichever. Vocalist for Merciful Fate and King Diamond. Actually forgot about him, vocalist for Merciful Fate, until I did this. I said, oh shit, that's right, he did. Um, we had Chris DeGarmo, guitarist for Queensryche. June 15th, we have Neville Noddy Holder, vocalist, songwriter, and guitarist for Slade. Michael Lutz, bassist, singer, and guitarist for Brownsville Station, which, if we know who those people are, they actually did the original version of Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
See the tie-in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
I missed it at first, yes.
yeah. So also with the Slade, I think was it Slade? I think that is, yeah, it was Slade. Slade actually did the original version of "Come On, Feel the Noise" that was
Yes, they
redone by
did.
Quiet Riot. So yeah, so that was the two way backs there.
Yeah.
Then we had still on the 15th of June, we have Craig Gruber, bassist for Rainbow. He unfortunately died in 2015. Got Joe Pizzulo, American session and chorus vocalist for Alice Cooper. Brad Gillis, guitarist and vocalist for Night Ranger. Scott Rockenfield, drummer for Queensryche. A lot of Queensryche birthdays in here. June 16th, we had Kiko Loureiro, guitarist for Megadeth. June 17th, Michael Monroe, singer for Hanoi Rocks. June 18th, West Arking, guitarist and songwriter for Guns N' Roses. He unfortunately died in 1997. Also on the 18th, we had Darren Dizzy Reed, keyboardist for Guns N' Roses. So that's their birthday. And we're in the same band. They had a lot in common, I guess.
Yeah.
June 19th, we had Ann Wilson, vocalist of Heart, Simon Wright, drummer for AC/DC, and Luke Morley, guitarist for Thunder. And that was the birthdays that I was able to dig up for the week anyway. So happy birthday to all of those. And of the ones I missed, I apologize and needed to talk to somebody about getting you guys in on the encyclopedias.
Right. Yeah, you need to talk. Yeah, somebody needs to talk to their publicist. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Say,
Yeah.
God damn it, Metalheads United isn't giving me my birthday recognition.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what they're worried about. But
Oh yeah, they're worried about us. Well, but yeah, happy birthday to all those guys. And it was kind of a little bit of a short list this week. Yeah.
well, it wasn't really. I mean, it was about what it was last week.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I know we've definitely had longer lists than that, but
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah,
but yeah, I guess that's
it was almost a full page. So I mean,
oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
No, not too bad then. All right. Well, leading off with the leading off with the news of the week. This comes from blabbermouth.net. Dave Mustaine says that David Ellefson's long completed bass tracks on the upcoming Megadeth album will be removed and re-recorded by another bassist prior to the record's release. Ellefson laid down his bass tracks on Megadeth's 16th LP in May 2020 at a studio in Nashville, Tennessee. I really want to find out where that studio is.
Right.
A short time later, he raved about his performance on the record, telling the 96.7 KCAL FM radio program Wired in the Empire that his musical chemistry with Megadeth drummer Dirk Verburen was comparable to the interplay between Geddy Lee and Neil Peart on classic Rush albums. Quote, I feel like on the new Megadeth record, me and Dirk have those same moments, he said. It's Megadeth. It's not Rush, obviously, but in the field of what we do, there were these moments that I was just going, oh my God, this is me as a kid going, this is my Geddy Neil moment right here, end quote. Earlier today being Thursday, June 17th, when the story came out, Mustaine announced during an episode of his Gimme Radio program, The Dave Mustaine Show, that Ellefson's bass tracks will not be used on the new Megadeth LP. Quote, I just want to thank you for all the kind words and support as we get ready for this next tour and continue to hunt for a new bass player, the Megadeth leader said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net. We are making progress. The record's being completed, and we're going to have someone coming in a couple of weeks to replace the bass tracks that we had, which should be relatively quick because the person we're talking to is a stellar bass player. And hopefully this will be an ongoing thing after the recording, or we will find someone prior to the recording that will be our permanent guy going forward. Ellefson was dismissed from Megadeth late last month, just days after sexually tinged messages and explicit video footage involving the bassist were exposed or were posted on Twitter. The longtime Megadeth member later released a statement on Instagram denying all social media chatter that he groomed an underage fan. I won't go on and read the rest of it because it's just a rehash of the stuff we already reported about David Ellefson and all the information leading up to his dismissal from the band. And so I won't rehash all that. I gotta say, I don't exactly I don't exactly agree with that decision. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
I
I
don't
know.
either.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he it was over a year ago that Ellison had all this stuff. He had all of his work done for the new album and all that good stuff. And regardless of, everything that has happened in his personal life and everything, and the falling out that apparently Dave and David have had that led up to him being fired again. I don't think it's right to remove all of his work from the album. I think it kind of stinks. I don't agree with it, but we all know that Dave Mustaine is going to do what Dave Mustaine wants to do. But I got to say, I
Right.
don't exactly agree with the decision to remove David Ellison from this album. I really don't.
You got to think about the kind of emotion that's probably going on with Mustaine too, though. I mean, he just went through, throat cancer and all this other stuff, and then come
Yeah.
back into this, and I mean, he's just kind of like, I think he feels like that maybe, you know, I don't know, man. It's kind of like hard to say what anybody feels, but I mean, it almost like to me, it looks like, and I'm sure it does to you too. It's like he was almost waiting for another excuse, just just to be like, get the hell out of here. But, but
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Other than the news that came out about the stuff that David Ellison did with that other woman.
right,
There were other parts of the overall story that weren't released. So there, because I remember when I first reported it, Dave Mustaine was quoted as saying that this recent development on top of other developments that so basically it was just a culmination of things that led up to this last incident being the last straw. So that's how he was ultimately fired. So you're right, we don't know everything, but I just think that since David Ellison, he had his contributions to the new album done over a year ago. I don't necessarily agree with the decision. I mean, the decision to fire him is one thing, but the decision to undo all the work that he contributed, I think is I don't
right.
know if I really agree with that decision, but
Well, that too, and it's going to put off an album that you've already been, fans have already been waiting on for a long time. So I mean,
well,
um,
yeah, that too,
if
sure,
it's,
but
but I'm
and
sure,
it is what it is at this point.
but I'm sure Dave thinks he's making the right thing as far as for the band. So
Oh,
don't you don't want any negative feedback toward the band. So I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where you read it and you can like actually see both sides of the spectrum, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to take a side, but you just want to believe that they're doing things for the sake of the band in general, not just a personal vendetta. So
Well, I don't necessarily think, because I mean, Dave and Dave, they
right,
let's see, what was it, 2002 when David Ellison got fired the first time, whenever it was, and
yeah,
David ended up suing Dave for the royalties or whatever it was, and then they reconciled. So I mean, I don't. I really don't think with the history that those two have, I don't think any of it is personal. I think like you just said, I think Dave Mustaine is really trying to do what's best for the band in his own way. While I don't necessarily agree with removing David Ellison, his bass tracks from the album, sure, I think Dave Mustaine thinks he's doing what's best for the band. I'll agree with you on that aspect.
yeah, they could have at least turned it down like Metallica did to
Be like, yeah, it's there. It's there.
so, oh, you didn't hear that, really?
uh,
No. All right, so some
oh
kind
man.
of uh, kind of exciting news, I guess. I actually want to go back and listen to this band now because I didn't realize it's been so long. But the band Violence has announced their new EP, "Let the World Burn," to be released in early 2022. The new EP was recorded with Juan Ortega of has done work with Exodus, Machine Head, and Testament, and it was mixed by Tu Madsen and did work with Meshuggah and the Black Dahlia Murder. So they got a good team of people there anyway. Um, and is the band's first new material since their full-length album Nothing to Gain, and get this, in 1993.
I know, right?
Yeah, holy shit. Like, so uh so Sean Killian was quoted saying, "Life is meant to be lived, and during that one life, you have an opportunity to truly create memories for yourself and people who share the same time on this planet as you do. For 33 years, a creation called Eternal Nightmare has been making memories for people around the world. Now it is time to create some new memories in 2021, and Violence has now done that for me, and I'm hoping for you too. This resurrection was started in 2019 with a simple text that stated, let's do a show. At that moment, these 5 original songs began. I am very proud of the new music we created, and we are fortunate to have worked with some very creative people. Juan Ortega, who was able to push the band to the edge of insanity to capture the intensity we as a band have always brought to the people through our music and our live performances. To Matson put a special touch on our unique mania and brought raw perfection to our sound. Nothing too polished here, unless fragments of glass and broken razor blades are what you consider polished. Okay. Uh,
Nice.
I love I love to create, and we hope your head explodes when you hear the new Violence. Thanks to everyone involved, and especially Metal Blade Records for giving Violence the opportunity to blow your minds. And that was from Metal Injection. So man, like that's crazy to be that long, you know, between albums, man. That's unreal.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
we'll have,
didn't realize they hadn't done anything since '93. I'm like, really? I did never even realize that. So,
yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit of research and if see where that ranks on the longest hiatus between albums. We'll have to look into that because
I will actually give you some information on that shortly.
oh shit!
Because
Spoiler alert. Okay.
yeah, because that is actually in the history news.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
good. Shit. We'll stick. We'll
but it's
definitely
not
stick around for
violence, believe it or not. So
that. Wow. Okay. All right.
I
Okay. Then.
say
Cool.
that, but I want to make sure that's what.
Okay. All right. Well, you go ahead and do that
Yeah, let me
because
double check that before I lie to you. So
yeah. All right. So I actually have my next story is actually from metalinjection.net. Hellfest 2022 is absolutely not fucking around. The festival is planned to run between June 17th and 26th in Clisson, France, and will feature about 350 bands. Yeah, you heard that right. 350 bands. This includes Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Nine Inch Nails, Deftones, Avenged Sevenfold, Judas Priest, and basically everyone else. Here's what the festival organizers had to say about this massive effort. Hellbangers, what can we say except that we are proud and excited to finally unveil the long awaited lineup of our anniversary edition. Keeping such a lineup as a secret for several weeks has been no easy task, especially in the last few days. It's been more than 16 months since our work rhythm was turned upside down by the arrival of this virus, since the live music industry was extinguished. Despite this, our confidence has never been affected, and we have kept working with a positive mindset. The frustration of 2 years without a festival has led us to dream even bigger about our reunion. In 2022, we are offering a new and unique format spread over 10 days. Never done before, this formula will, without a doubt, remain in the history of so-called extreme music, twice as historic because this formula is meant to exist only in 2022 and will not happen again in the years to come. After a first weekend from 17th to the 19th June 2022, we will double the fun with an additional weekend from the 23rd to the 26th of June, a real marathon that will see no less than 350 artists on 6 stages. As usual, the festival does not deviate from its principles. You will see artists capable of performing in stadiums with artists who are usually playing in smaller venues, and for some, even in pub caves. Punk, heavy, black, hardcore, death, stoner, pagan, power, we have done our best to put together what we believe to be the edition of the century. No need to list the program in detail as you are not, and for the second year, headbanging at the festival right now. You can find out all this by yourself at home or with your friends enjoying our virtual edition Hellfest from home. More information over here from home.hellfest.fr. This exceptional edition is also an opportunity for us to thank pass holders who have been waiting for more than 2 years. Your loyalty and trust have kept us going, and we do not have enough words to thank you. It seemed fair for us that you should access the ticket sale 24 hours before the public sale in order for you to obtain your tickets for sure. We are aware that some of you, for professional, family, or simply financial reasons, will not be able to attend this XXL edition. By going through and only through our partner Ticket Swap, please stop via GoGo and others, you will be able to resell your pass for the weekend you are you are the least interested in, and thus make one more happy fan. For all the others who will have the chance to live these 10 days of anthology with us, we promise that you will remember our reunion. As a bonus, we might even make you a nice finisher t-shirt so at this moment will remain so that this moment will remain engraved forever in your memories. Get my mind right here and learn how to read for a second. Once in a lifetime celebration. Last but not least, we could not finish without thanking all those who have supported us during these last months: volunteers, intermittent sponsors, service providers, media partners, people from Cleason. We are all eager to see you again and to live with you this future adventure, which promises to be historic. Stay strong, stay safe, Hellfest crew. And then it goes on to list basically everyone who's supposed to show up for this show, and it is a mind-boggling amount of bands.
Yeah, it's definitely, if I had the money, I would definitely make that trip. That's for damn sure.
Man, I mean, they are not kidding when they say that this would be like the festival of a lifetime. I mean, it is unreal the amount of bands who are gonna be at this thing. It's basically like he said in the very, very opening paragraph. It's like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Nine Inch Nails, Deftones, Avenged Sevenfold, Judas Priest, and basically everyone else. Because
Right.
I mean, if you go to metalinjection.net and you read this Hellfest 22 story that I just read to you guys, like I say, the lineup list is at the bottom, and it's just it is unreal. I'll just
Yeah,
leave.
isn't
I'll leave
so
it at
isn't
that. It's unreal.
isn't the first weekend though kind of what they already had set before and canceled, and they just read. And then
I'm
I think the other 4 days, the second weekend is the all the new stuff. Is what I was understanding. I could be wrong, but
I'm honestly not 100% sure how they have this set up as far as the format as it relates to the festival that got canceled, in addition to the quote unquote new festival that they're basically bookending it with. So I really don't know.
nah,
All I know is I'm just
it's
going through.
two
I'm just
freaking weekends, man. Like golly.
Oh yeah, I'm just going through the list right now, and it's now. Don't get me wrong. There are some bands on here that I haven't heard of, but I mean, when you're talking about 350 acts, I mean,
Right.
you're going to have that, and that's even part of the allure of this festival. It's like they say, it's all the way up. It's all the way up from uh, club bands all the way up to stadium headliners. So I mean, you literally have the polar opposite of you know the popularity of some of these bands. Some of these bands, they may never get to play uh, in a venue like this ever again. So, good for the organizers at Hellfest for being able to put something like this together on a yearly basis, like they always do. But good for them keeping with the same formula and letting these guys still show up to something like this, especially the magnitude at which they're putting this on this year. I think it's
Right.
going to be, I think it's going to be amazing just by looking at the lineup.
So I want to give everybody a little. Well, I guess not give everybody a little anything. I'm actually going to give me metal a little boost here. But so any Megadeth fans out there that want to, they actually have Dave Mustaine on Thursdays at the Dave Mustaine Show, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 p.m. Central. Um, and you can join the live chat with a 30-day free trial to Brigade membership that you can get on GimmeMetal.app.link. So that's pretty cool, man. You can get a 30-day free trial and chat with Dave on Thursdays. That's awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. You get to do that with your 30-day free trial. So that's the that's the big thing right there. So
Hell yeah, man.
after 30 days, you don't want to talk anymore. You just cancel it out. But yeah, yeah. So that's leading up to another little story here. Piggyback here. Dee Snider has had a very busy year. He's finishing up a solo album, and he's appearing on a episode of Celebrity Family Feud this Sunday on ABC. The Disney Network has released a short teaser of this week's episode, which pits the Twisted Sister frontman's family against that of NFL legend Terry Bradshaw. Snyder took being the first rock family represented on the show seriously. According to Blabbermouth, he said on a recent interview with 22 Now, uh, quote, I remember when we were kind of debating, like, do we go in and treat it like it's a joke? You know what I mean? D added, just like a big goof out of it, or do we take it seriously? And they expect us to be a joke, so we wanted to go in there and go for the gold. So I can't say how it went other than that to say that we kicked ass. That's all I can say. End quote. And the show airs this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. That is from Metal Injection. Uh, so that's actually pretty cool to see. Like I said, we always talk about how metal's represented in all these different aspects, and it's so cool. We were, all that stuff you said. You think you did a story on Jeopardy last week or week before?
Yeah.
So I mean, we're the metal community is definitely out there. So it's awesome.
So again, Gene Simmons can just go shove it.
Oh my God! I got a story about him later on too. So are you like in my notes or something today? I mean, what the hell?
No, and that's the funny thing is like I said, we didn't even have a chance to get together last night to have a fire like we normally do. So this is actually kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like a match made in heaven.
Aww. Aww.
I'm gonna kick off. I'm gonna keep rolling here with this real quick because I got a lot of like advertising stuff I can go over. For the 1 year anniversary edition of Slay at Home, I announced my most ambitious show up to date, which also happens to be the finale. As they say, all good things come to an end. I started Slay at Home early in the pandemic as my personal mission to create an entertainment fundraiser that I don't, I, not I personally, but I'm just reading. But it says, I started Slay at Home at the pandemic as my personal mission to create an entertainment fundraiser that would aid the music industry and charities I'm passionate about while providing a fun new experience for metal fans around the world. As the world prepares for the post quarantine comeback with more live shows announced each week, I have made the decision to send off Slay at Home as it began a year ago with a mammoth variety show filled with lots of surprises for a great set of causes. The fully stacked event will air Friday and Saturday, which was yesterday and today, unfortunately, but we can still catch today's beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. The free virtual event will fundraise and support four great charity organizations: Music Cares, the Iggy Fund, the Cancer Research Institute, and National Alliance on Mental Illness. Um, the Slay at Home finale is going to include collaborations with Deftones, Incubus, Megadeth, Killswitch Engaged, Cavalier Conspiracy, Typo Negative, Carcass, uh, Fear Factory, uh, King Diamond, Cattle Decapitation, Testament, Dragon Force, Black Dahlia Murders, uh, Suicidal Tendencies, Municipal Waste, and so on and so on. And then also they'll have original performances by Lacuna Coil, Rotting Christ, Wolf Hearts, Cannabis Corpse. Oh, that's different. I never even heard of Cannabis Corpse. Amigo the Devil, Black Tusk, Fractal Universe, uh, lots and lots of other stuff here on here. It's pretty cool. They got like arts, illustrations. There's like panel discussions and all that stuff on there. And it's you can actually go to youtube.com/metal injection um, to watch the free live stream. That's actually today at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you're interested in that, feel free to run by there and check that out. Hell, if I ain't doing nothing, that's probably what I'm gonna be doing. So
I may check it out if I get done mowing the lawn in time.
yeah, something different. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, to go back to what you were talking about with that Gimme Metal thing and talking about Dave Mustaine's show on there, I actually have the Gimme Metal app on my phone. It's actually a pretty cool app. It really is. I actually haven't had a chance to check out Dave Mustaine's radio show because I'm usually like, stupid busy on Thursdays. But I have listened to the Gimme Metal app before, so it is a pretty cool app. And they also, and I know we've mentioned this before, but they do have Ricky Rackman's show on there, The Ball. So they have
Right.
that. So
Right.
it's a pretty cool app if you guys want to check it out. And of course, anywhere that you can find metal music is a pretty cool place to go.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah,
So
give us some advertising dollars. Give me metal.
right. Hey, and
Hint,
Dave,
hint,
yeah,
hint.
and and Dave Mustang, you're not far from here. You can just give us our address. We'll just come over and take a check, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
Uh,
basically just like a half hour north of here. We could just like
yeah,
drive by this afternoon. It's totally fine.
yeah, yeah. We don't even have to come in. You can wait at the mailbox. We'll just swing by and grab
Yeah, yeah. No big. I mean, we don't have to ruin his whole afternoon.
it. Right, right.
Yeah, just walk down the
Uh,
driveway real quick. We'll just drive by. It's fine.
yeah.
All right. Moving over to loudwire.com. Mastodon is going to stream a rare acoustical performance from the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta. So
Oh, nice.
that's pretty cool. I've actually been to the Georgia Aquarium a couple times. It's a hell of a cool place. All right, and now for something a little different, as Mastodon will unplug for the rare acoustic performance while playing at the Georgia Aquarium. This unique Mastodon show is set to take place on July 15th, with fans being able to check in from around the world for the streaming event. The group has teamed with live streaming platform DreamStage to put on the show, which allows the band to not only present their music in a different way, but also to do so in a unique environment, showcasing one of their favorite spots in their home base in Atlanta. The concert will air at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on July 15th, with the band not only performing acoustically, but sharing exclusive commentary on their creative process. This would be the band's first and possibly last acoustic performance. Tickets are currently on sale now at this location, which I don't know what the link is, but the link is in the story, with the group also offering merch bundles with t-shirts that will provide $1 per purchase to the Georgia Aquarium. Check out a trailer for the show, an extremely cool poster below. I'll see if I can, let's see. Okay, I do have the poster. I'll put it up here in just a second. Mastodon have been working toward a new album, but fans have had plenty to keep them occupied over the past year with the release of their medium rarities. That's awesome. Medium rarities collection. The song Rufus Lives from Bill and Ted Face the Music, and the track Forged by Neuron, recently appearing on the Dark Knight's death metal soundtrack. So let's see. Here is the poster. Here's the poster right there. There's the poster. Oh, hang on. Let me get. There it is.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right. So there's the poster. July 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. They'll be live streaming from the Georgia Aquarium. Like I say, if you haven't been to the Georgia Aquarium, it's a cool ass place. It's right downtown in Atlanta. It's a hell of an experience if you're into that kind of stuff. Going to aquariums, it's a great place. So. But yep, check that out on July 15th if you're a Mastodon fan.
All right, so we're gonna stay with Loudwire here. Foo Fighters have dedicated their upcoming Madison Square Garden show to their late tour manager Andrew Pollard, who died on June 18th. According to Pollard's LinkedIn, he served diligently as a stage manager and lightning crew chief for 20 years. Throughout his career, Pollard stage managed for acts like Nine Inch Nails, Beck, Arcade Fire, Tenacious D, and Kings of Leon, on top of working lights for Arctic Monkeys, Bjork, Iggy Pop, and more. Um, Quote, we are shocked and devastated by his loss. The Foo Fighters write, we can't imagine being on stage without Andy there by our side. He was not only a key member of our team, but a dear friend and wonderful father. Our hearts go out to his partner, Sophie Peacock, their children, Arlo and Ren, and his family and loved ones. And we also share our condolences here as well. just a sad situation. And like I said, it's crazy how people get caught up in the face of the bands and everything like that. But those bands aren't as good and sound as good as they do without those people in the background doing what they do best. So, um,
Absolutely.
and I think it's cool that a lot of bands realize that and give props where they're needed to be given. But yeah, it's a sad thing, and especially if you've worked with someone for 20 years, it's kind of hard to show up at a show and not see them there. So it's
Right.
going to take some getting used to for them, I'm sure. So
Yeah, because there's no telling how many people it actually takes to put on a show. I mean, you've got the road crew, the rigging guys,
right,
the sound guys, the equipment guys. I mean,
pyros and all that stuff,
I
man.
mean, I there's no there's no telling how many people it takes, and that's
Mm,
it's part of the reason why ticket prices are as high as they are, because I mean everybody's got to get paid, and I get it, but I
right.
mean it's just so yeah. I mean, you got the 5 to 10 guys on stage depending on what band you're watching, but I mean there's
Or two or
dozens
three.
of
I mean,
right, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I mean there's dozens of guys on a nightly basis who just make these shows possible. And you're right, it is nice to see that these bands they are out and out showing their gratitude and support for these guys who help make their careers possible. So, and I think, I mean, obviously this isn't anything new, but I think we saw the outpouring of appreciation really ramp up when during the pandemic, when all this stuff closed down, because the art, by and large the artists, they're fine. I mean, granted they want to be on stage and they want to be performing, they want to be touring and shit like that, but the artists themselves, more often than not they're fine. But it's like the photographers and all these other people. Steel Panther recently had that thing that they did for their photographers, where the photographers were able to come on and exhibit some of their work and stuff like that. So it really is nice to see the gratitude that these artists are showing to the people who help make their careers possible.
yeah, I was just trying to go back. I still had last week's stories next to me, and was going back to where Jason Hook was doing that auction for his roadies and crew. So I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, so yeah, so it's good to see those guys giving back to. I think a lot of the amazing stuff for me at a show is like the timing of like the lights and the pyros have to be a certain, you know, you can't have certain color lights on top of a certain color pyro or something like that. So it's like cool to see that timing work out to where it just makes everything look so fucking awesome.
yeah.
Um,
These guys, I mean, these
I
guys are
mean,
they're definitely good at what they do. They
right?
absolutely are.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. So I mean,
No,
well, I
I'd
guess
be
I
shit. I'd
guess
be
I could if
lost.
somebody taught me I could, but I mean, like just walking up to it right now, like no, I
Oh
wouldn't.
yeah, I would absolutely be lost. But yeah, I mean, you go to a show and you see everything, like you say, run so seamlessly from like one act to the next, from one
Right.
song to the next. It just the way it flows. It's fantastic.
I mean, I can see my interview now. What makes you qualified for this job? So I can plug something in.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that'd be about it. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, don't, we'll call you. We'll call you.
yeah, right. Uh, I'm
they
gonna
did.
keep
They
I'm gonna
didn't call.
keep the ball rolling with some Loudwire stuff here. The nonprofit Living the Dream Foundation, of which Pierce the Veil's Vic Fuentes is the CEO and co-chairman of, aims to provide Dream Day experiences to children and young adults who are battling life-threatening illnesses. Oh, crap. Hold on just a second. Sorry, this computer's asking me for an update. I ain't got time for that right now. Um, anyway, the events continued virtually amid the pandemic, and one courageous metal fan, Trevor, who has passed away since, met his hero, Corey Taylor of Slipknot. With the blessing of Trevor's family, a video clip highlighting a brief portion of the hour-long conversation between Trevor, who is battling terminal brain cancer, and Taylor has been shared, underscoring the goodwill of the foundation as well as Trevor's determined spirit. The the conversation ranged from thoughts on indoor skydiving, which Trevor's mom wanted him to try it. Taylor said he had done it before, but wasn't a big fan of the experience, to monster truck rallies and Star Wars. Quote, we started doing the virtual dream days out of necessity during the pandemic, but never expected them to take on such a powerful role in our mission and create some of the most heartfelt and life changing moments between our guests and their favorite artists, end quote. That's Fuentes told Loudwire that. He also added, quote, there's nothing like seeing our guests smiling and feeling so much positive energy as they meet their heroes for the first time. One conversation can give them so much hope and inspire them to keep fighting for their lives. It's been a beautiful thing so far, and we're definitely going to keep doing them, in addition to facilitating our upcoming live festival Dream Day experiences, end quote. Taylor in turn said, quote, it takes 2 seconds to make the decision to be good to someone in this world. That 2 seconds can make a person's lifetime. That is all the reward I need to do what I can for the people with LTD, end quote. A few weeks after the Dream Day experience, Trevor lost his battle with brain cancer, but was said to have been getting out and doing what he enjoyed and loved without being deterred by his paralysis. Uh, Loudwire extends their condolences to Trevor's family and all who knew him. You can visit the Living the Dream Foundation website for more information and to make a donation. So that's, it's one of those things where, we follow, if you follow pro wrestling, we kind of know that, some of the stuff that they do with Make a Wish. So it's just cool to see, these bands and whatnot giving back a little bit of their time to give these people, suffering from certain diseases a bit of hope and at least a little bit of happiness while they are still here with us. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, I always like to hear, and it doesn't matter what genre of music it is. It doesn't matter what sport it is, or what, or whatever it is. I always like to hear when these celebrities will do that for these charitable organizations, whether it's like you say, like Corey Taylor, or some actor, like Johnny Depp. He dresses up like Captain Jack Sparrow all the time, and he'll go to children's
Yeah,
hospitals, and he'll show up in character and talk to these kids who are ill. I know that the Detroit Red Wings, they have different times during the year where they will go to local children's hospitals in the Detroit area, and they will go to children's hospitals around there and stuff like that. I always like to see that. I don't care if it's a genre I don't listen to, or if it's a sport I don't watch. These people who make millions of dollars a year, when they do this for children like this who are ill and stuff like that, I love to see it every time. And
and
it's
then you got
great, and it's great that people will do that.
and then you got a lot of them. Just like this is a foundation that one of the who just said started that was Pierce the Veil. I'm a real big Pierce the Veil fan, but anyways, it's people like that, like Drew Brees. They created their own
Yeah,
foundations. So I mean, it's
yeah.
like those people that create their own foundations for these things. That's just freaking awesome that they took their time to do that when they didn't have to.
Yeah, I remember back in 2005, when Seth was in the hospital after a car accident. He was up at Vanderbilt, and I can't even remember the guy's name at this point. But he was a country artist, but he actually came by the children's wing there at Vanderbilt Hospital, and he was coming by and he was visiting with the children that were there. And it just so happened that we were there while Seth was recovering from the car accident, and he came by and came into the room and talked to him for a little bit, and signed a picture for him and stuff like that. So, not a country fan by any respect, but like I say, it doesn't matter what genre of music, what sport it is. When these people take time out of their schedules to come by and see children who are, well, in Seth's case, he wasn't sick, but he was in a car accident, but he was recovering. But,
Right.
whether it's something like that, where it's something that a child will recover from, or something terminal that a child won't recover from, going, like you said, just taking a couple of minutes just to talk to somebody like that, and making a memory for them when they won't have a chance to make too many of their own is amazing to me. Phil Vassar, that was his name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was the name.
I know the name.
That was the name of the artist that came by. That was his name. His name was Phil Vassar. That was him. I knew I'd remember it eventually. So yeah, he came by and talked to Seth for a little bit while he was in the hospital. And like I say, that was 16 years ago. So obviously Seth is recovered and is doing well and all that good stuff. But it was a really cool gesture, and we appreciated it. And it's a shout out to all those guys who do that. Phil Vassar, Corey Taylor, doesn't matter. Captain Jack Sparrow, doesn't matter. So. They do this stuff when they don't have to, and it's going above and beyond, if you ask me, and I think it's great.
Right.
All right. I am going to also stay with loudwire.com. I actually have a few stories from Loudwire. So Loudwire was good to the Metalheads Unite podcast this week, it would appear.
Yeah.
In case you were looking for any useless but interesting facts about Metallica today, we've got you covered. Due to the immense efforts of a Metallica fan on the internet, we know what the band's most commonly used word is. Jason, you want to take a guess?
Yeah. No.
You know what? That was actually my first guess, and probably 90% of people's first guess, but you would be wrong. The band's most commonly used word is never.
Yeah.
Yep, a user on the Metallica Reddit page created a graph of the most frequently occurring words in Metallica's lyrics, and never was the top word. Considering one of their absolute most famous songs, Enter Sandman, has the lyrics "Off to Never Never Land," this isn't much of a surprise. Other songs that feature the word are obviously Through the Never and The Day That Never Comes, and less obvious ones such as The Unforgiven, Nothing Else Matters, Don't Tread on Me, Wherever I May Roam, Master of Puppets, and plenty more. Other words that Metallica repeat a lot in their lyrics are one, see, away, take, and life. But we know the one you're probably most curious about is James Hetfield's infamous "yeah," which was used 68 times, which I would have definitely taken the over on that. I would not have guessed only 68 times. I would have guessed triple digits easy. According to the same chart.
That can't be counting live shows.
Oh, no, absolutely not. We're not exactly sure what method the Reddit user utilized to achieve these results, but you can view the chart for yourself below. And it is at the bottom of this article, so you can check it out. Almost exactly 2 years ago, a Slipknot fan did a similar experiment with their lyrics by creating a word map. Coincidentally, the most commonly used word in their lyrics was never also. Apparently, metal artists have a thing for saying it. Pessimists. Metallica were just announced as one of the headlining acts at France's Hellfest in 2022, which we alluded to earlier, which features 350 bands playing 6 different stages. They're confirmed to appear at a couple of different U.S. festivals in 2021 as well, which you can check out on their website. So let's see. I won't post the entire thing, but on this list, never is obviously the top word at 146 times that they've used it. And then it goes all the way down to hell, which was used 60 times. So
wow.
obviously there were some other words that were probably used less than that. But all the way up from 60 to 146. And the word yeah is on there 68 times. So that's definitely a lot less than I would have thought. But
yeah.
So yeah, like the story says, useless but interesting.
Right. All right. Well, I got 2 Loudwire stories I'm going to do back to back just because they kind of flow together. So
all right.
So I got a lot of flow going on today. I guess it's good.
Nice.
From a man's perspective, it's good anyway. Oh man. Queensryche have announced that they will re-release the albums Operation Mindcrime and Empire as box sets later this month. Both albums have been remastered at Abbey Road Studios for this special release, which will be available in various formats: CD, vinyl, and 10 by 10 box sets. The box sets come with CDs and DVDs featuring live performances and promo videos. In addition, each box set comes with an accompanying expanded booklet completed with liner notes by writer Alex Milas, who spoke with Jeff Tate about the making of the albums. Operation Mindcrime, which originally came out in 1988, served as the breakthrough album for Queensryche, regarded as both a concept album and a rock opera. And it was the band's first studio release to reach the top 50 of the Billboard Top 200, and was certified platinum by 1991. Its follow-up Empire came out in 1990, and with hits such as Jet City Woman and Silent Lucidity becoming their most commercially successful album to date. All newly remastered formats of Operation Mindcrime and Empire will be available on June 25th. And to celebrate the re-release of the two albums, Queensryche have been premiering remastered versions of their original music videos on YouTube, including Eyes of a Stranger, I Don't Believe in Love, Empire, Best I Can, Anybody Listening, and Silent Lucidity. The videos for Another Rainy Night Without You and Jet City Woman will arrive on the 25th along with the albums. So that's pretty cool that they, some of the remastered stuff is cool, and then some of it just, I don't know if it just I guess sounds weird because we're so used to hearing a certain tone.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully they did a good job with not taking a lot of the originality out of it.
Right, man. That Empire album, God, that is such a good album.
Right. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear how it sounds when it comes out, because man, I'm not 100% sure how you could make that sound any better than it did.
Right. So kicking off from that story onto another, we actually were talking about this pre-show in the waiting room area here. Yeah. Bullet for My Valentine will release their self-titled new album in October, and in advance of the record, they've issued a music video for the ultra-heavy new song "Knives," which was freaking badass.
Oh God! if you guys haven't had a chance to listen to that new Bullet for My Valentine song yet, when the show's over, don't do it right now. When the show's over, to go over. I mean, you can find it pretty much anywhere, but the video's over at YouTube. Like Jason said, the name of the track is Knives, and it's 5 minutes of your day worth spending. God damn it. It was such a good song. I'm going to probably listen to it again after the show. I loved it.
The album has been in the works for at least 2 years, and frontman Matt Tuck had previously stated that the material was shaping up to be a mix of the group's last two records, Venom and Gravity, while also promising fans would be bestowed with a brutal and technical effort. With Knives as evidence, Bullet for My Valentine more than delivered in regards to brutality and technicality. I think, quote, I think it's the most ferocious side of Bullet for My Valentine that I've ever seen or ever known, lead guitarist Michael Paget boasted in reference to the song. It's time for us to put out a really angry, heavy, aggressive record. I just can't wait to grimace on stage. Tuck, also energized by the band's full tilt approach here, added, quote, I wanted to come out guns blazing, fucking middle fingers flying, and just go for the throat. I think this is a far more aggressive, intense part of Bullet for My Valentine. It's always been there. I've just never opened the floodgates on it. I want to take people's heads off in a metaphorical way. Bullet for My Valentine, which was produced by Carl Brown, Venom producer and Gravity mixer, and recorded at Treehouse Studios, will be released on October 22nd through Spine Farm Records and Search and Destroy. So man, if that's any indication of what that album's going to be like, I cannot freaking wait.
Oh, I did, and I didn't even look, but what did they say? October?
Yeah, 22nd.
Is when the album's coming? October 22nd. Oh shit, man, sorry. All right, October 22nd. I'm definitely, well, I mean, that's my sister's birthday and my son's birthday, so yeah, that October 22nd is going to be a good day. but yeah, like I say, guys, I mean, go give the, you know what we'll do? We will share the video to the Metalheads Unite Facebook page. Guys, go check it out there.
Oh, it's already up there.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's right. It was, because that's
Yeah.
that's the link I followed. Yeah. All right. So go follow Jason's link to that video. Like I say, it's about 5 minutes out of your day, and it's going to be well worth it. Like Jason like you just said, if that's the direction they're heading in, holy shit. Yes. I'll just say that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, for me, over at loudwire.com, this is a cute story. And when you hear about the guy that did this, Jason, you especially, you'll probably laugh, because I laughed when I read it. A chipmunk narrowly escaped certain death on Wednesday, June 16th, when Andy Williams, the rhythm guitarist for metalcore mainstays Every Time I Die, who moonlights as the AEW wrestler The Butcher, saved the animal from drowning. So Jason, I know you know who he is. I don't know if any of you guys out there have watch AEW and have seen this guy wrestle in tag team action, with the Butcher and the Blade and everything. But the size of this guy, saving a teeny tiny little ass, probably about yay big chipmunk from drowning. To me, that was to me just picturing that is funny enough.
So did you say he's also a member of Every Time I Die?
Yes, he's the rhythm guitarist for Every Time I Die.
No shit, I did not know that.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know he was in the band. No.
Yeah, rhythm guitarist Andy Williams, and yeah, so he wrestles.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep, he is AEW wrestler The Butcher. The rocker, who posts under the Twitter handle Andy Complains and currently has his profile name set to Bunkhouse Butch, summarized the ordeal on social media and shared a picture of the chipmunk in recovery. Still, it's unclear precisely how Williams prevented the drowning, or whether the musician was at home or elsewhere when he sprung into action. Following the rodent rescue, he gave the animal the name Rudy. Every Time I Die members shared the story in a few short sentences. Quote, "I saved a drowning chipmunk this morning," he matter-of-factly revealed. Williams chalked it up to Good Universe vibes, adding that the little buddy just needed a nice blanket and a walnut. The photo the guitarist posted only hours later shows he did indeed provide the critter a blanket and some nuts, something for which the woodland creature would have undoubtedly expressed its gratitude if it could communicate in such a way. Regardless, the chipmunk's peaceful demeanor as it convalesced in style in bright purple terry cloth clearly shows an understandably relieved, if slightly spooked, animal. Every Time I Die fans are currently awaiting the band's follow-up to their 2016 album Low Teens. Over the last 6 months, the group has debuted 3 new songs for the eventual effort that so far has no title or release date. The most recent of those tunes, AWOL, was included in Loudwire's February roundup of the best new rock and metal songs. And let's see, here we go. There is...
Oh my God.
So yeah, this I mean, I don't know how much Andy Williams weighs, but he's a large American. He probably weighs in upwards of about 3 bills, and he just saved probably a pound and a half chipmunk from drowning. So oh God. So who says
I like the part where they said they would be grateful if it could communicate. I'm sitting there thinking, no, if it could communicate, they'd be making an album together.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Damn it. I'd probably listen to it too. I probably would. I'd probably check that shit out.
I don't know. Like, somebody should do that. I don't know if the Chipmunks ever did a heavy metal album. Somebody should do that.
You talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, we should check into that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if that actually happened.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that made me laugh too hard not to share that.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple long-winded stories, so I guess I better get to it.
Okay.
From Blabbermouth, I had a story here. It's man, this one's kind of all over the place, so bear with me. In a new interview with Rolling Live Studios, Ronnie James Dio's former wife and longtime manager Wendy Dio spoke about how he popularized the so-called devil horns hand gesture, uh, which was what the 16th was supposed to be Devil Horns Day, right?
Yep.
So she said a lot of people claim that it was theirs and it's okay. It wasn't Ronnie's either. It's an old Italian sign called Malaccio, the evil eye, to ward off evil. His grandma, when he was about 5, used to walk down to town to give his grandpa lunch at the steel mill, and he'd see his grandma doing the sign. It was like warding off evil, and he didn't think about it. It was just part of his heritage. And then when he joined Black Sabbath, of course, Ozzy Osbourne, the original Black Sabbath singer, was doing the peace sign, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to do something um, on his own. So then one day he just did it, and it just took off. And it was just something that Ronnie became popular for. The late Black Sabbath and Rainbow singer is frequently recognized for making the hand gesture mainstream, a staple at rock concerts for decades. However, this past March, Sabbath bassist Geezer Butler said he was using the so-called devil horns years before Dio adopted it as his own. Quote, I've been doing that sign since, I've got pictures of me doing it since 1971, Butler said during an appearance on Sirius XM's Trunk Nation with Eddie Trunk. And I always used to do it in the breakdown in the song Black Sabbath. Just before it goes into the fast part at the end, I do the sign to the audience. And on the first couple of Heaven and Hell tour shows, Ronnie was saying, when I'm going on stage, everybody's doing the peace sign to me, and that's an Aussie thing. I feel like I should be doing something back to them. He said, what's that sign that you do in Black Sabbath? And I showed him the devil horns, and he started doing it from there and made it famous. Asked why he had never publicly revealed before that he was responsible for showing Dio the devil horns, Butler said, I didn't really think much of it. As I say, I've got pictures of me doing it in 1971, and it was just an alternative to Ozzy's peace signs I was when I was doing it. And if you look at the Yellow Submarine album cover from the Beatles, John Lennon's cartoon character is doing it in 1966 or whatever it was. So it's an old sign. I was just doing it because Aleister Crowley used to do it. According to Geezer, the devil horns isn't the only thing that Ronnie took credit for that he didn't come up with on his own. There's a lot of things that he nicked off me and that he claimed he was the originator, Butler said. But he made it famous, so I didn't care. The Dio album titled Sacred Heart, that's where I used to go to school. And he called one of the songs One Foot in the Grave. I jokingly said we should call the album One Foot in the Grave. And then when he left Sabbath, he called one of his songs that. He was very naughty about things like that. And when I did an autograph, I'd write Magic. So Ronnie started writing Magic as well. In fact, he called his Dio album Magica. Uh, he was very naughty about things like that. And asked if he ever confronted Ronnie about it, Geezer said, nah, only about the devil horn sign. Ronnie wasn't the only high profile rocker to take credit for the Devil Horns. Back in June of 2017, Kiss bassist and vocalist Gene Simmons filed an application with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for a trademark on the hand signal fans and rockers alike holding up during shows in which the index and pinky fingers are extended and the middle and ring fingers are curled into the palm. And the thumb either sticks out from the hand like a branch from a tree or is also curled into the palm. Gene claimed the gesture was first used in commerce on November 14, 1974, which corresponds to Kiss's Hotter Than Hell tour. He wrote in his signed declaration that he believes no other person, firm, corporation, or association has the right to use said mark in commerce, either in the identical form or in such near resemblance. Less than 2 weeks later, Simmons withdrew the application. Most music fans slammed Simmons for the trademark request, saying the symbol has become uh, ubiquitous. I can't say that word, and and means different things to different people. Asked why they eventually decided to withdraw the application to the trademark, Simmons told Talk Is Jericho, the uneducated and uninformed, otherwise passionate, got so hot under the collar that I just didn't think it was worth it. Ronnie himself had even poked fun at Gene for attempting to take credit for the Devil Horns. Gene Simmons will tell you that he invented it, Dio once said, but then again, Gene invented breathing and shoes and everything else. uh, as, as previously As previously reported, the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund, founded in his memory of the late heavy metal icon, will join forces with virtual event producers Rolling Live Studios to celebrate Ronnie's birthday on Saturday, July 10th. The global live stream fundraising event will bring together celebrities and fans all over the world to honor Dio's undeniable impact, both on and off the stage. The frontman for El Rainbow, Black Sabbath, and Dio, Ronnie lost his battle with gastric cancer in 2010. So just an interesting, like, back and forth how they everybody wants to take credit for something now that the guy's dead.
Well, and the funny thing is like Ronnie James Dio never took credit. So Geezer Butler talking about
Right.
Ronnie James saying that he invented it is bullshit, because Ronnie James Dio himself said that his grandmother
Exactly.
did that. So for Geezer Butler to say Ronnie James Dio claimed that he invented it is wrong, because out of Ronnie James Dio's mouth, I heard him say, "My grandma used to do it. I used to see her do it."
Well, that's the thing. It's like, my thing is if Ronnie got it from Geezer, I mean, that doesn't make sense, since they just said in the thing that he was walking down the street with his grandmother at 5 years old, and she was doing it, so he got it from there. He's been doing it since he was 5. He didn't even know Geezer Butler then, so
Right.
so a lot of the story doesn't make sense. So
yes, I mean, but I will take umbrage to Geezer saying that, oh, Ronnie said himself that he invented it. No, he never said he invented it. He said his grandma invented it, and she probably didn't even invent it. If it's an old
they said it's an old Italian thing. So.
Yeah, if it's an old Italian thing, it was probably some. I guarantee you, if it's an old Italian thing, some preacher probably invented it.
Yeah, that's what's sad about it. So, the preacher invented devil horns. No, he did not. Not my preacher.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, it's still cool it's still cool to hear stories like that, but yeah, Geezer's a little off base there.
Well, it's like me. People don't know my background. I was in professional wrestling for close to 20 years, and like it was always it's always a thing. Just like the figure 4 leg lock, you hear people all the time talk about, well, I invented it, or Ric Flair invented it, or Billy Landell invented it. It's like all these people invented it when nobody really knows the whole story. They just know what they know at the time, and that's the thing. Is like the same thing there is they just know what they know at the time.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So I just think it's kind of, I actually found that story kind of humorous. That's why I wanted to share it. Everybody wanted to jump in and take credit for something that Dio didn't really. The fans made Dio the face of that. No, it wasn't anybody else. The fans made Dio, Ronnie James Dio, the face of the Devil Horns.
Right.
So yeah. It wasn't Geezer Butler. It wasn't Gene Simmons. I mean, so.
And hell, Gene Simmons doesn't even well, I was going to say he doesn't do it right, but he does it differently. Gene Simmons does this right here.
Yeah, he does the love kind
so
of.
So technically, and that's not how I do it. I do it this way.
Right.
So
he
pretty much
we all know Gene. We all know Gene needed to make some T-shirts with something on it, so that's what he was.
Yeah.
Real quick story here from Metal Hammer. Motorhead have officially authorized a graphic novel which celebrates their louder-than-life legacy. Motorhead, the rise of the loudest band in the world, the autographed graphic novel by David Calcano and Mark Irwin will be published by Simon & Schuster in hardcover on September 7th. The 144-page publication will chart the rise of Lemmy's rock and roll outlaw gang, from Lemmy's expulsion from Space Lord's Hawkwind, through the recordings of the Deathless, Overkill, Bomber, and Ace of Spades albums, and on to the emergence of Lemmy as a national treasure, adored by Metallica, Foo Fighters, Soundgarden, Sepultura, and indeed anyone with a rock and roll heart. So that's pretty cool. They're gonna have a graphic novel about that. That'd be pretty interesting to read, I think. So.
Yeah. We'll have to check that one out, and we still have to check out. I think Anthrax has got a graphic novel coming out for their 40th anniversary, don't they?
Yes, and they also have a live stream, and I can't remember. It's actually coming up pretty soon. So
yeah.
So here's I'm gonna try to be as quick as I can with this. I'm probably just gonna pick through some of the actual content, but I thought there was a pretty cool story. Let's see who had that real quick. It was from Kerrang. He's actually talking about uh, albums that were actually made in haunted houses or haunted studios, which is
Really?
pretty. Yeah. So then they had like a lot of the band members were talking about their experiences in it. I thought that was pretty cool. But yes, it says that making an album is an exhausting and emotional process, but one that can be made even more emotional and exhausting if there's a big load of flipping ghosts whizzing about the place, putting you off your music. At the same time, it makes sense that rock musicians would be attracted to the sorts of places frequented by spooks. The type of person who feels compelled to spend their life creating the kind of art that so frequently deals with power, emotion, aggression, death, history, and planes of existence far beyond our own are unlikely to turn down the opportunity to interact with the spirit world. Um, and also, lots of them are quite drunk. But so they talk about the Black Sabbath, the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album in 1973. It was recorded at Clearwell Castle in Gloucestershire, England. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Um, hopefully, they never make a sauce like that. So,
Oh God.
uh,
Probably, of course,
Worcestershire.
it's it's someplace in England. It would probably taste like depression.
Oh my God. Oh,
I'm
but it
just
says,
I'm just kidding,
yeah.
England. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It says Black Sabbath have always enjoyed leaning into the spooky side of things, hence opting to work in the dungeon of a haunted castle for their fifth album. Clearwell Castle was built in 1727, had previously been used as a rehearsal space for recording studios by bands like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple. But Sabbath decided to up the creepy factor by decorating it in satanic imagery and exploring its subterranean side. In between playing pranks on each other to the extent that everyone was perpetually terrified, with Bill Ward taking a dagger to bed with him. They also encountered the castle's resident friendly spirit. Tony Iommi later recalled, quote, we rehearsed in the armory there, and one night I was walking down the corridor with Ozzy, and we saw this figure in a black cloak. We followed this figure back to the armory, and there was absolutely no one there. Whoever it was had disappeared into thin air. The people that owned the castle knew all about this ghost, and they said, "Oh yes, that's just the ghost of so and so." And we were like, "What the fuck? What?" So they definitely had a surprise ghostly encounter there. Also, the Meatloaf "Bat Out of Hell" album in 1977 was recorded in Bearsville Studios in Woodstock, New York. When Meatloaf was working on his mega-selling glam rock opera, 43 million copies and counting, um, he had a few ghostly encounters, which only became clear to him later on. When the figure of a woman in white drifted past his window, he assumed it was one of his producer's one night stands and went, ah, man, Todd Rundgren's groupie again. He recalled in the 2015 documentary, The Haunting of Meatloaf. He later had another less ambiguous encounter with a spirit that slammed cupboard doors and ripped the covers from his bed. Panicked, he swallowed an amount of composer Jim Steinman's sleeping pills, which was a dreadful idea. Uh, Meatloaf survived the incident, although he insists he continues to see ghosts frequently, greeting them with the imaginative opener, "Hey, hey, 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 hey." Moving on to Red Hot Chili Peppers' Blood Sugar Sex Magic in 1991. It was recorded in the mansion of Hollywood, California. The mansion was built on the site of a house previously owned by Errol Flynn and once rented as a magic practice space by Harry Houdini. It's a four-bedroom house in the California hills. Legendary producer Rick Rubin bought it in the 1990s and decided to record the Chili's in it, an experience he found so easy and rewarding that he went on to record a lot more albums there. However, the Blood Sugar sessions were not without creepiness. Drummer Chad Smith refused to stay in the house with the rest of the band, saying, I'm not scared of ghosts, but I felt a presence. Strange orbs showed up in photographs. Flea reported seeing a woman in black. John Frusciante perceived the ghost as friendly, going as far as to masturbate in front of them. Okay, John, there's friendly and then there's friendly. Okay,
Right.
and the guitarist has encountered a fair few ghosts in his time. Once claiming to struggle with upwards of 400 living in his head. Okay, there, buddy.
Yikes.
Yeah. Sepultura's Chaos AD recorded in 1993. It was recorded at Chepstow Castle in Chepstow, Wales. Well, some of it. While most of Sepultura's fifth album was recorded in Rockfield Studios in Monmouthshire, in Monmouthshire, yep. Sepultura opted to do one track, the ambitious acoustic multi-percussionist instrumental Chaos, live in the ruins of Chepstow Castle. Though no creepy going-ons were reported in the session, the castle is supposedly haunted by the ghost of Henry Martin, an English lawyer who died there in 1668 after choking on a chicken bone. Surprisingly intellectual for ghosts, a spectral game of chess once played out in a locked display cabinet in a gift shop. As the pieces moved overnight with no signs of disturbance, the gift shop has also had an odor of onions waft throughout it with no obvious source, and it turns out to have been built above what was once a kitchen. If it was a smell of apples and it really got on Sepultura's nerves, Max Cavalera could have shouted, "Fruits, bloody fruits!"
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of corny.
Ah, boo.
Yeah, right. He's writing jokes for you guys over there. Kerrang! Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, come on.
Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral in 1994 was recorded in La Pigue, Beverly Hills. Trent Reznor wasn't unaware of the historical significance of the house he rented at 2000. Oh, wait a minute, 20050. Damn, that's a lot of zeros. Laurel Canyon. It was the site of the infamous Manson murders, in which a cult enthralled to a maniac murdered 5 people. While he never reported seeing any ghosts, he ended up leaving the place after deciding it had too much history to handle. He met Sharon Tate's sister, who accused him of exploiting her late sibling's death, and the human side of it all came to him. The realization that it wasn't just a historical event, but one in living memory that had left hurt people behind. So not really a ghostly encounter, but there was enough there that he didn't want to take a chance, I guess.
Yeah.
Plus we know Trent Reznor's early life into his making of that first album. We know he was pretty in a bad, dark place anyway. So
yeah, he probably scared the fucking ghosts away.
No shit, yeah.
Here the ghost is like, but never mind.
Here's another one. Slipknot's Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses in 2003, is also recorded in the mansion in Hollywood. Ghosts and Encounters weren't the only thing that upset Corey Taylor during the recording of the Knot's third album. He accused producer and haunted studio owner Rick Rubin of only showing up 45 minutes a week and spending most of that time eating smelly food, but they were up there. As he recounted in his second book, a funny thing happened on the way to heaven. Weird stuff happens in that mansion. I was alone in our rooms. Corey and Sean shared a room. The door to our room was shut and locked. The doors to the balcony were shut and locked, but the door to the bathroom was wide open. I was taking a shower, getting ready to hit the town with a vengeance. I was in a great mood, singing along with the Bee Gees and washing all my filthy bits that needed immediate attention.
Oh.
The shower curtain was open smidge and could see the room from my vantage point. I looked up. A man in a tuxedo walked past the open door, staring right at me. Drummer Joy Jordison also had a weird experience. He felt a ghostly form pass through him in the basement and reported his door swinging open at exactly 9:30 a.m. every morning. So, man, wild stuff, dude, in that mansion. Like, there's a lot of mansion mentions in here, so I'll try to push through it real quick. Killswitch Engaged, The End of Heartache 2004 was recorded in Zing Recording Studios in Westfield, Massachusetts. Guitarist, engineer, and producer Adam Duckwitz spent huge amounts of time in the studio working on Killswitch's third album and the first to feature the singer Howard Jones. During the hardcore 3-month session, fueled mainly by spicy food and taking only Christmas Day off, he had creepy encounters with the studio manager's deceased father. One night he had a seance to talk to his father because He and his dad still have some unsettled business, he told Revolver. He thinks ever since then that the father's ghost won't leave. It's really weird. Adam reported seeing crazy lights and floating orbs, while drummer Justin Foley saw shadows doing things that shadows don't normally do. And guitarist Joel Straussel had an extremely close encounter during a series of naps. I was laying there, he said, and I swear I kept feeling someone brushed up against me or walked through the room. Then I'd wake up and there was no one there. It really creeps you out. System of a Down, Hypnotized, Mesmerized in 2005, also recorded in the mansion. Yeah, I guess we don't really need to go through all of this, but see if I can break down actually, it starts out talking about it. So, Heidi Robinson Fitzgerald was Rick Rubin's publicist and had a creepy encounter. She turned up early one day to set up for a day of press and interviews and sat down alone facing the central staircase. She suddenly felt something behind her. It wasn't bad or anything, but it was obviously obvious, and it grew to where it was so intense that I felt like something was standing right behind me. And then an apparition appeared, a woman dressed all in white walking down the stairs. There was no breeze in the house, but whatever she was wearing was floating in the wind. The woman then turned around and walked back up the stairs before disappearing. During the same recording sessions, guitarist Darren Malakian reported strange noises coming from his amp tubes at 4 p.m. every day. That's crazy stuff. Same time every day. You know?
Right.
And there was a couple more on here. Like I said, we were running low on time, but if you want to catch the rest of that stuff, it's over at Kerrang. I just thought I'd share a couple of those stories from some of the albums that we were familiar with. Pretty crazy stuff, man. Try to record something in a haunted mansion, I
guess. Yeah, I would probably pass.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm good.
Like, we can just go to a regular studio.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we gonna move on to this week in metal history.
Yeah. That was all I had anyway for this week. So yeah, we can move on to some history.
All right, this week in metal history, as usual, brought to you by This Day in Metal and Metalhead Marv over at Twitter and Facebook. Go check out Metalhead Marv over there at his Twitter account or his Facebook page. He's been a little more active on Facebook the last couple weeks, but predominantly he posts over there at Twitter. So if you want to go check Metalhead Marv out, you can go check him out over there. So for the week of June 12th, leading up to today's date, June 19th, leading off with a couple of holdovers from last Saturday, we've got June 12th, 1995, Paradise Lost releases Draconian Times, which peaked at number 16 on the official charts in the UK. June 12th, 1984, Steel Over releases their debut album, Glove Me. Moving ahead to the 13th, June 13th, 1985, Rat releases Invasion of Your Privacy, which peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200. June 13th, 1988, Nuclear Assault releases Survive, which peaked at number 145 on the Billboard 200. June 13th, 1984, Gravestone releases Victims of Chains, and Judas Priest plays at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan in support of the album Defenders of the Faith. Great White opened the show. I only bring that up is because, Joe Louis Arena is where the Red Wings used to play. So, June 13th, 1986, Messiah Prophet releases Masters of the Metal. June 13th, 1995, Fear Factory releases Demanufacture. And June 13th, 1999, 6 Feet Under releases Maximum Violence. Moving ahead to the 14th, June 14th, 1982, Metal Blade Records compilation Metal Massacre is released, and Metallica makes their recorded debut with Hit the Lights. June 14th, 1991, Forced Entry releases As Above, So Below. June 14th, 2005, Static X releases Start a War, which peaked at number 29 on the Billboard 200. June 14th, 1992, Cemetery releases their debut album, An Evil Shade of Grey. June 14th, 2011, Rain Exceed releases 1912, and A Pale Horse Named Death releases their album, And Hell Will Follow With Me. June 14th, 1997, Darkness releases their debut album, Death Squad. June 14th, 2013, Master Plan releases Novum Initium. June 14th, 2019, Helix releases Old School. Who knew Helix was still making music in 2019?
Right.
And Skeletor releases Cyber Metal. 6/14/1985, Wallop releases their debut album, Metallic Alps. June 15th, 1988, S.A. Slayer releases their debut album, Go for the Throat. Did you know that there was more than one Slayer?
Not that mattered.
I did not know that. Well, the funny thing is, like that SA at the beginning of SA Slayer, that stands for San Antonio, because that's where that band is
Gotcha.
from. And obviously that we know that the Slayer, the one that's still around, is from California. And I actually learned this over at This Day in Metal. Metalhead Marv actually posted a retweet from somebody. There was actually a battle of the bands in 1986 with those two bands, the two Slayers, because they were both they just referred to themselves as Slayer. You had the California Slayer, you had the San Antonio, Texas Slayer. They were both going by that name. So in 1986, I believe it was 86. I'd have to go back and look, but there was a battle of the bands in San Antonio with the two bands, and obviously we all know how that turned out, considering that Slayer had a more than 30-year run. So S.A. Slayer, which stands for San Antonio Slayer, they released their debut album, Go for the Throat, on June 15th of 1988. So now you know the rest of the story. Little bit of shout out to Paul Harvey there. June 15th, 1985, Dungeon releases their debut album, Fortress of Rock, and Exciter releases Long Live the Loud. June 15th, 2013, Heaven's Fire releases Judgment Day. June 15th, 1986, Brighton Rock releases their debut album, Young, Wild, and Free, and First Strike releases their debut album, Just a Nightmare. June 15th, 2007, Viper releases All My Life. June 15th, 2018, Crying Steel releases Stay Steel, and Lizzie Borden releases My Midnight Things, which peaked at number 148 on the Billboard 200. And Tad Morose releases Chapter X, which is Chapter 10, I'm sure. Yeah. June 15th, 2019, Tranny releases their debut album, Tranny.
Oh, God.
No word on whether or not Caitlyn Jenner sang on the album. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, no. Well, actually, 2019, hell, Bruce Jenner could have sang on the album then if it came out in 2019. Could have. Yeah. All jokes aside. June 15th, 1981, Iron Maiden releases the single Purgatory. June 15th, 2011, In Flames releases Sounds of a Playground Fading, which debuted at number 27 on the Billboard 200. June 15th, 1983, Jaguar releases their debut album, Power Games. June 15th, 1993, Sacrifice releases Apocalypse Inside. And June 15th, 2009, Artillery releases When Death Comes. June 16th, 2008. Oh, moving ahead to the 16th. I'm sorry. June 16th, 2008, Judas Priest releases Nostradamus, which was the band's final album to feature K.K. Downing before his retirement. June 16th of 2017, Iced Earth releases Incorruptible. June 16th, 2006, Metal Church releases A Light in the Dark. June 16th, 1992, Trouble releases Manic Frustration. June 16th, 1982, Picture releases Diamond Dreamer. June 16th, 1984, Trauma releases their debut album, Scratch and Scream. June 16th, 1985, Fortress releases their debut album, Fortress. June 16th, 1986, Crocus releases Change of Address, which peaked at number 45 on the Billboard 200. June 16th, 1989, Skid Row releases the single 18 in Life, which peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. Moving ahead to the 17th, June 17th, 2003, the Black Dahlia Murder releases their debut album, Unhallowed, and Typo Negative releases Life is Killing Me, which peaked at number 39 on the Billboard 200. Green Carnation releases A Blessing in Disguise. June 17th, 2016, Gojira releases Magma. June 17th, 1988, the documentary The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, is released. June 17th, 1991, Van Halen releases For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and remained there for 3 weeks. And Acid Drinkers releases Dirty Money, Dirty Tricks. June 17th, 2011, Symphony X releases Iconoclast, which debuted at number 76 on the Billboard 200. And Rhapsody of Fire releases From Chaos to Eternity. June 17th, 1997, Megadeth releases Cryptic Writings, which peaked at number 10 on the Billboard 200, and I think is one of Megadeth's underrated albums. I liked Cryptic Writings. I really did. June 17th, 2005, Virgin Steel releases Nocturnes of Hellfire and Damnation. Moving ahead to the 18th, Jason, I don't know if you had this. This may steal your thunder just a little bit. Judas Priest fans caused $250,000 in damage to Madison Square Garden, leading to the band getting banned for life from ever performing there again. June 18th, 1986, Mania releases their debut album, No Lullabies. June 18th, 1985, Titan releases their debut album, Rough Justice. And moving ahead to today's date, June 19th of 2020, Lamb of God releases their self-titled album. June 19th, 1989, Creator releases Extreme Aggression. And June 19th, 1992, Solstice releases their self-titled debut album. So those were the historical releases from June 12th up to June 19th. And I will probably have more for the 19th to lead off next week's show. Jason, over to you, sir.
All right. So I got June 14th, 1986. 3 fans died during an Ozzy Osbourne gig at Long Beach Arena, California, after they fell from a balcony.
Whoops.
Yeah, right. It's like, imagine there was probably some alcohol involved in that.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
June 14th, 1977, Led Zeppelin played the last of 6 sold-out nights at Madison Square Garden in New York City during their 11th and final North American tour. So that was the last time they toured in North America, it looked like. Now it's crazy. June 15th, 2016, Led Zeppelin's guitarist Jimmy Page denied stealing the riff to Stairway to Heaven when he took the stand at a copyright trial in the U.S. The band were accused of lifting the opening guitar line from Taurus, a 1968 track by the band Spirit. Page testified that he had never heard the song until people started posting comparisons online a few years ago. Page admitted to owning several Spirit albums, but only remembered buying 2 of them, neither of which contained Taurus. Under questioning, he conceded that he did own a copy of the band's self-titled debut on which the track appears, but could not recall how it came to be part of his collection. Don't recollect the collection. I got you. June 16, 1988, Vince Neil of Motley Crue married motor wrestler and fashion model Charisse Rudell. The couple unfortunately divorced in 1993. Oh, excuse me. A sneeze coming on. Ugh.
Don't you hate it when you can feel it coming?
Oh, I know. It's like it's not a good time for it to happen either.
No, not really.
June 16, 1994, Kristen Pfaff, best known as the bassist for alternative rock band Hole, was found dead in her bathtub due to a heroin overdose at age 26. She died 2 months after Kurt Cobain, who was a close friend as well as husband of Hole's frontwoman, Courtney Love. But, nothing to see here.
No, I was going to say, that doesn't sound fishy at all.
No. Yeah, I never knew that part of the story until I did this. I'm like, oh, that's very disturbing.
Yeah, this is actually the first I've heard of it too.
I think we all had the accusation of what happened there. So I think that kind of stirs the pot just a little more that direction. Anyway, June 16, 2001, 4-year-old Daniel Carvin Varese drowned in Tommy Lee's swimming pool while attending a birthday party for Lee's 5-year-old son, Brandon. His parents, James Varese and Ursula Carvin, sued Lee for negligence, claiming they should have been told that a swimming pool was involved. Their son could not swim. Lee was cleared by a jury in April of 2003. Oh, man, that's sad stuff there, man.
Very sad, yeah.
But there's a lot of sad stuff with Motley Crue, so...
Oh yeah, that would have obviously been just the tip of the iceberg, really.
June 16, 2013, Black Sabbath. This actually comes into that play earlier about the long album between albums. We will have to look that up because this is actually number 1 chart release albums. So it's actually not a between albums, just between number 1 albums.
Okay.
So Black Sabbath established a new UK chart record for the longest gap between number 1 albums with their new release. 13 debuted at the top of the charts. 42 years and 8 months after their second album, Paranoid, reached number one.
Yeah.
42 years and 8
42
months
years.
between.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. But they had two number one albums in that between that span, like crazy.
I am gonna actually look that up. I want to know. I want to know what.
I'm curious about that as well now since you brought that up. So
Yeah, I want to know what band had the longest hiatus between album releases. I do want to know that.
June 16, 2010, at the Sonosphere Festival at Bemowo Airport in Warsaw, Poland, the big four of American thrash metal, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax, performed together for the first time. The band members, except for Slayer's Jeff Hanneman, were first photographed together on the previous day. June 17, 1987, Florida real estate agent Victoria Holman sued Motley Crue and their concert promoter for hearing loss allegedly incurred at a concert in December of 1985. Holman and her daughter had front row seats less than 10 feet from the speakers. The case was settled out of court with the band's insurance company paying Holman over $30,000. You know, I'm sorry, but you go to these concerts and you don't wear ear protection. I know you do, and I don't a lot of times.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not going to go around suing the damn band because I was negligent about not wearing your front row. Jesus freaking Christ, man! Like,
yeah, I know. It
blows my freaking mind, and like how they got any money out of it. Just,
yeah, and she still got 30 grand. That boggles my mind. Yeah.
No.
But yes, I do wear earplugs to concerts. I haven't always done it. Like, when I was younger and I first started going to concerts, I didn't, but it actually didn't take me too long to realize that, hey, if I'm going to be going to concerts, off and on for, a good portion of my life, I better make sure that I'm going to be able to hear afterwards. So yeah, I've been wearing earplugs to concerts for a long time now, and they're just as enjoyable, honestly, if not more so for me personally, with wearing the earplugs. It actually makes the songs a little crisper live in person wearing the earplugs. So, but like I say, that's just me. Your experience may vary, but that's just a choice I made a long time ago. So.
Yeah. All right, June 17th, 1997, fans rioted at an Ozfest concert in Columbus, Ohio after Ozzy Osbourne couldn't perform due to throat problems. Angry fans broke windows, uprooted trees, and turned over a parked car. Oh my freaking, like this like blew my mind when it said they uprooted trees. I want to know how big these damn trees were and how mad they were to uproot them.
Yeah, I'll be damned. That's being pissed. That's pissed off.
Oh man. June 17th. Of
course, they were probably partially pissed that they lived in Columbus too. So.
Well, that could be true. Yeah. June 17th.
I'm just kidding, Columbus.
June 17th, 1986, Metallica opened for Ozzy Osbourne at the Cow Palace in San Francisco, California. This was Cliff Burton's final hometown show, which is unfortunate for all of us.
Yeah, we definitely know how that story ended, unfortunately.
June 18th, 1948, going way back this time. Columbia Records started the first mass production of the 33 RPM long player. The new format could contain a maximum of 23 minutes of music per side versus the 3 minutes that could be squeezed onto a 78 RPM disc. So innovations in 1948.
I'm sure that was actually a huge game changer at the time.
Yeah,
going from
20 extra minutes on each side, like damn.
Yeah, almost increasing your audio capacity by what, like 8 times? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you probably couldn't even get a whole album on those things before.
That is actually a huge leap forward.
June 18th, 1984 was the Judas Priest incident you just talked about earlier. They caused $250,000 worth of damage to the Garden, and they got banned. And incredibly, the ban is still in effect. That's what's crazy. And there's even an active petition that fans can go sign to get the ban lifted.
I may do that.
So that's just crazy. I mean, man, come on, man. That's been 84? It's been almost 40 years ago?
Almost.
June 19th of 1987, Guns N' Roses made a UK live debut at a sold-out marquee club in London. So that was all of the history that I had.
Yeah, there was some good ones in there.
Yeah, man, some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So we decided that this week, seeing as Father's Day is tomorrow, that we were going to do our top 20 since it is on the 20th. We're
Yep.
going to do 20 for 20.
Yeah.
20 favorite male vocalists. You want to kick that off, or?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll go first this time. As usual, this is in no particular order. This is just a list of 20 favorites. But leading off, I do have Ozzy Osbourne. I have Ronnie James Dio. I have Klaus Meine of the Scorpions. I have Tim Ripper Owens of multiple projects. I have Joachim Cans, lead singer of Hammerfall. I have Ralph Sheepers, lead singer of Primal Fear. I have Joachim Broden of Sabaton. I have Rob Halford of Judas Priest and Fight. I have Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage, Light the Torch. Wayne Static from Static X. I have Dez Fafara from Devil Driver and Cold Chamber. I have Philip Anselmo from Pantera. I have Werrell Dane from Nevermore. James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine. I have and you mentioned him earlier in the show, Jason, but I have Ville Lahiala from Sentenced. I have Timo Kotipelto from Stradivarius. John Bush from Armored Saint and Anthrax, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, and last but certainly not least, Rob Flynn from Machine Head. So, obviously there were some other guys that could have made the list but didn't. So even though I was able to, we expanded the list from 10 to 20. I was able to find 20 rather easily, but you can imagine some of the guys that aren't on the list. That just goes to show you the amount of very, very talented vocalists that are out there. Just the abundance of them, really.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to be a couple of repeats, of course, but
I'm sure.
Right at the top of my list was Tim Ripper Owens. Of course, I'm a big fan of Tim.
Yeah, me too.
And second, I also had Dez Fafara. I had Jeff Tate from Queensryche.
Yep.
Bruce Dickinson, Iron Maiden. I had Howard Jones as well. I also had Johannes Eckerstrom from Avatar.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a big Max Cavalera fan, so how would I kind of fan would I be with not adding him to the list? So
right.
I also have Max Cavalera from Every Band Ever.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know I think I actually posted that on the page where he was actually in a band with Nail Bomb in '94, like right after the Sepultura split, that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, they're so good. Yeah, it's crazy. I also had John Witherspoon, Seven Dust,
right.
Rob Halford, of course, John Bush I had as well. David Draymond from Disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
I have Elias Soriano from Nonpoint. Rob Flynn from Machine Head. I also have Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch. Phil Anselmo from Pantera, and of course, 3 or 4 of his other projects.
Yeah, Down and Superjoint Ritual and Philip Anselmo and the Illegals, and
and on and on and on. So, Randy Blythe from Lamb of God.
Mm-hmm.
Have M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. Matt Heafy from Trivium. Spencer Charnas from Iceland Kills, and I had John Cavill from Warbringer. So that was my list. I don't think we could have gone wrong with either one of those lists. So
no, and it just goes. It goes like as usual, like you said, there were some overlaps between the two lists. But I mean, you put our two lists together and take out the doubles, you probably got a good 30 or 32 of some really good fucking singers.
Yeah,
and I'm sure, and I guarantee you, there were some that even that we still missed between the two of us.
Oh,
I guarantee you there are. There's no way we didn't miss some.
Yeah, like I want to put I wanted to put James and Dave and all them on there too, but I just man, there's just so many good people that so many singers that I liked. It's just
Yeah.
My love for Johannes Eckerstrom did not come as much until that last album. Oh my God, dude! It's I did not realize how diverse that guy was with his vocals.
Yeah, you talking about Hunter Gatherer from last year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you listen to some more of their earlier stuff, and you can you get to hear some of his range in there, but most of their earlier stuff was, the more aggressive guttural vocal style. But
Right.
I think he really showed the range he has on Hunter Gatherer. It was such a good album. It was so good. And if I remember right, our very first show that we did when we were on another platform was our 2020 recap.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think Hunter Gatherer was actually my album of the year last year. I don't remember what yours was, but if I recall correctly, I think Hunter Gatherer was my album of the year.
I think we both had the same one last year as far as
Yeah,
the top one.
yeah.
We had a
I'd
lot
have
of
to go.
different ones down, but
Yeah, I'd have to go get my other notebook, but yeah, I know it was in the top 10 for sure, and
oh yeah,
I'm wanting to say it. I'm wanting to say that it actually ended up being my album of the year for 2020. But regardless of where it finished, it was a damn good album. It was fantastic, and I think, like you said, I think he really established himself vocally and talent wise on that album. And going forward, I
mm-hmm.
think he's going to be a beast as far as lead singers go.
Oh yeah. And speaking of albums, we've come to that point of the show.
Yeah, tie that sucker all together, didn't we?
Right? Yeah. Like it's just like everything's just flowing so perfect
Yeah, it's just
today.
in a straight line.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, well, I'll let you lead off with the album reviews.
All right. So I chose an album, Chalice of Sin. That was actually the name of the album as well.
Yeah.
Um, it was their actual debut album. Uh, Members Alessandro Del Vecchio, bass and keyboards, Mirko De Mayo, drums, Martin Jepson Anderson on guitars, and then Wade Black on vocals. Um, man, it's just this album was just okay for me. Um, I I kind of like in the first song that popped up. I kind of let me go through. I actually want to let you guys know which one it was. I guess so. Um, it kind of like so whenever they first started out in the album, it sounded a lot like maybe like some old Leather Wolf or something like that from the '80s, early '90s. Um, and actually, the name of the song, "Chalice of Sin," was the very first song as well. So so all of that, it was 11 songs, 48 minutes, 42 seconds. So Chalice of Sin from Chalice of Sin, song Chalice of Sin. There you go. Keep it
It's like New
simple
York.
there, guys.
It's like New York State, city, and county. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, right. Oh man, but yeah, it was an okay album. For in some parts though, it didn't like the vocals didn't line up with the music for me. I don't know why. It was just kind of weird at some points, but it wasn't like totally horrible and it wasn't great either. So I would probably just do like a 2.5 horns on it, maybe. Like I said, I'm not real crazy about stuff. Like they have some great stuff on there. Of course, they're a mixed kind of group from the states, Denmark and Italy, so they're kind of they got the heavy and the power metal kind of
Oh,
mixed in
okay.
together there. So that may have been why it made it a little odd, but
So was it just kind of was it kind of just like a mess stylistically?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I think if it would have been, like I said, the guy's voice just didn't match the sound that they were going for. You know, like it was almost like you know, like I don't know if you remember Leather Wolf, but if you took that guy and put him in Slayer, I mean,
Oh,
it probably would.
okay, all right.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have worked.
I gotcha.
Um,
So
yeah,
I haven't heard Chalice of Sin, but based on that description, so you know he has a more melodic voice, and then the music is a lot heavier, and it just doesn't
uh,
fit.
I'm not sure if it's like more of his tone. I think
Okay,
it's just more of his sound in general.
okay,
It just don't match the power metal, that we're used to.
I get you. Okay,
Yeah, and it just like I said, it just didn't flow well for me.
All right, I got you. Well,
Yeah.
I may check that out just
Yeah, I mean, it's worth checking out because I
to
mean,
kind of see what you're
everybody.
referring to.
Yeah, everybody's got their own personal opinion about things. So I mean,
Sure.
definitely check it out. You know, you may see something or hear something that I didn't. So,
Yeah.
uh,
But yeah,
you know,
I may check that one out. Now you
you
said
know, I hope.
you did say there was another one you were going to try to check out, yeah?
So I tried to do that Dark Knights compilation album. You know, I got through about 3 or 4 songs of it, and then I just started honestly started skipping because I not like once a few of the other ones started, I just couldn't get into it. It was like it was really a mix of stuff. It was more of a it was like if you put you know I hate doing all these little little comparisons, but if you put Slayer and then what's the name of that band I was trying to think of like 30 Seconds to Mars on like a same compilation
Oh,
album.
good lord.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it was kind of all over the place,
Wow.
but
All right.
I
Yeah,
mean
I get you.
it wasn't horrible. I mean, but you know I wouldn't go back and like I said I saved a couple of the songs off of it that I thought were good. You know, Maria Brink had a song on there. Uh,
Oh, all right.
yeah, so I mean there was a couple of songs on there that were okay, and then there was a couple of them I was just like, yeah, I could do without that,
Well, yeah, a lot of times when you get a compilation like that, that's going to happen. So that I would say that's probably pretty normal. It doesn't
yeah.
sound too out of the ordinary there. So
So I also listened to the new Fear Factory, the
yeah,
Aggression
me too. Me
Continuum.
too.
Did you cover that one or?
No, that wasn't the album that I did my formal
Oh,
review
gotcha, gotcha.
on. But I did listen to it, and I actually liked it.
Uh,
Uh, I was actually impressed with the way it sounded. You know, I've got a couple of older Fear Factory albums. I don't remember which ones they are. I think I have Obsolete, and there's another one I have. I can't remember the name of. But so I did get a chance to listen to it all the way through at least once. I think I may have gotten into it a second time, but I don't think I've listened to it all the way through
Man,
a second time.
you know it was really freaking good in my opinion. Man, I just hate that like Burton Bell you know I hate that they cut ties, but because I think that was like probably one of his best performances on their albums. I mean,
Yeah, I was, man, and I've heard, you know, a little bit of the back and forth between Burton C. Bell and Dino Cazares about, you know,
hmm
what went down and what didn't. So I don't know if you know, there's, it's like they always say, there's two sides of the story, and in the middle,
right,
there's the truth, you know. So who knows if we'll ever know for sure exactly what happened, but you know, this being the last album, I mean, by the way it sounds, you know, with the as pissed off as the two are with each other, it sounds like this is going to be their last album together. So I mean, you know, but if this is the last one, I guess it's going to be a good send off for Burton C. Bell.
right.
I did enjoy it. I thought it was really good. I'll probably listen to it again for sure. I'd probably be a keeper because I do have it downloaded. But so yeah, I would give it at least a 3.5 out of 5 for sure. But the actual official review that I did, as I actually did Halloween's new self-titled album.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I did that one. For and for those of you who don't know much about Halloween, which you know, I will admit that for some reason that I didn't know a whole lot about Halloween. I'm kind of kicking myself again for that. They are a power slash speed metal band that was formed in Hamburg, Germany in 1983. So they've been around for a while.
hmm
Their lyrical themes include fantasy, life, humanity, good versus evil, humor, religion, politics, glory, and metal. So I mean, basically, they pretty much cover everything. The new self-titled album was Halloween's 18th studio album. I
hmm
did not. I mean, I knew they'd been around for a while, but I did not realize they had that many studio albums. And yeah, I can't believe this is actually the first one I will have listened to all the way through. So, needless to say, I need to go back and do a little bit of I need to do a little bit of backtracking because I'm still amazed that I haven't listened to as much of this stuff. Their debut album, Walls of Jericho, came out in 1985. Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 came out in 87. Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 in 88. Pink Bubbles Go Ape, yes, that's the name of the album, came out in 91. Chameleon came out in 93. Master of the Rings in 94. The Time of the Oath in 96. Better Than Raw in 98. Metal Jukebox in 99. The Dark Ride in 2000. Rabbit Don't Come Easy in 03. Keeper of the Seven Keys, The Legacy in 05. Gambling with the Devil in 07. Unarmed in 09. Seven Sinners in 10. Straight Out of Hell in 13. My God Given Right in 15, leading up to the self-titled album release yesterday. So the self-titled album was 12 tracks, 1 hour and 4 minutes and 57 seconds, which was inflated by the last track on the album, Skyfall. Track number 1, Out for the Glory, was 7 minutes and 18 seconds. Fear of the Fallen, 5:38. Best Time, 3:35. Mass Pollution, 4:14. Angels, 4:42. Rise Without Chains, 4:56. Indestructible, 4:42. Robot King, 7:07. Cyanide, 3:29. Down in the Dumps at 6:01. Orbit was 1 minute and 4 seconds. That was a short instrumental. And Skyfall, the full version, was 12 minutes and 11 seconds. And there was also a couple of bonus tracks on the version that I downloaded, Golden Times at 4:47 and Save My Hide at 3:11. So that 1 hour and 4 minutes and 57 seconds didn't even include those include the bonus tracks. Yeah. So a good hour and 15-minute album. So if you've got a little bit of time to kill, this one will kill a good hour. I liked the album overall. I thought it was really good. There were a couple of songs I didn't really care for. I didn't really care for track 4, Mass Pollution, and track 8, Robot King. Just didn't really care for those two. I will say that I thought a couple of the songs, the guitar riffs were a little bit more generic than I would have expected out of them. I mean, that being said, I mean, I couldn't play them because I don't have any fucking talent. So, I mean, not trying to hate on them because I couldn't play the guitar if you paid me to. But, a band like them, there were a couple of guitar, maybe generic isn't fair, but just not as complex as I would have expected. That's probably a little more accurate. They weren't generic, but they weren't as complex as I would have expected. But I do like the fact, and let me go through the members real quick because I forgot about the lineup. The lineup, you have Marcus Gruskoff on bass. You have Michael Wyckoff on guitars. You have Kai Hansen on guitars and vocals. Michael Kiske on vocals. Andy Darris on vocals. Sasha Gersner on guitars. And Danny Lobel on drums. I do like the fact that Helloween has the 3 singers. I wouldn't have thought that having 3 vocalists would work, but they make it work. I think it sounds good, and I like how you can tell between the 3. I like that. I like the diversity of the vocals. So yeah, I thought the album was good. This is another one I'll give 3.5 out of 5. Like I say, there were 2 songs I didn't really care for. But being that I downloaded a version that had 14 songs, there were still 12 that I liked out of the 14. So that's a pretty decent ratio. I will go back and listen to more of their stuff. I did like what I heard off of this new album. So that's definitely I'd say it'll definitely be a keeper for me.
Yeah. Awesome. What would you give the Fear Factory one?
Oh, I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 also.
Yeah, I was going to say 4, so I mean it's pretty close. So
yeah,
but yeah, I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, I'm a big Halloween fan. I actually had the Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 back in the day. So
yeah, so I'm gonna go back and check out some of that other stuff. So
the first song I ever heard was "I Want Out," and I was hung from then. So,
right.
But I haven't listened to any of their stuff in the last probably decade. So I probably should check out some of the other stuff. I didn't want to close out the show without mentioning a friend of ours, Aaron Camaro, with the Decibel Geek podcast, and posted something, and I shared it on our page. I have a friend of theirs, Gary Corbett. He's a musician, composer, producer. He's not, part of a band so to say. So he's not one of the people that go out here and get all this kind of money from touring and all that other good stuff. So he is battling cancer right now. So thoughts and prayers go out for that. Also wanted to tell everybody there's a GoFundMe page set up for Gary Corbett if you want to help. Even like he said, if we get just $1, nobody cares what you donate. They just he just needs help for the treatments to get him
Right.
well again. So I just didn't want to leave the show without calling that out because that's
Yeah.
he's a part of the metal business and definitely needs people's help right now. Like I say, he's not one of the people that can make millions of dollars off of what he does. So
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah. Get out there. Get out if you can give what you can. So
right.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we take off this week, let's go ahead and let you know what's coming down the pike for June 25th, 2021, which would be next Friday. Leading off, we have The Absence with Coffinized. We have Amun Ra with Day Dorn. We have Beartooth with Below. Buck Cherry with Hellbound. We have Cathexis with Untethered Abyss. We have The CEO with Redemption. We have Cerebral Rot, Excretion of Mortality. Dark Throne with Eternal Hails. Devin Townsend, Devolution Series number 2, Galactic Quarantine. Dream Theater Lost, Not Forgotten Archives, Images and Words, live in Japan 2017. And yes, that's all the title. Enslaved, Below the Nights. We have Enslaved, Chronicles of the Northbound. These are, let's see. Okay, there's 4 of these. Hang on. Enslaved, Below the Lights. Enslaved, Chronicles of the Northbound. Enslaved, The Rise of Ymir. And Enslaved, Utgard. Those are all cinematic Tour 2020 releases. Not exactly sure what that means, but there's 4 of them. So they're probably I'm guessing they might be concert releases.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. Go check that out and see what those are. Eve 6, Grim Value EP. Fargo, Strangers d'Amour. Fractal Universe, The Impassable Horizon. Hirace, I think, Hiraes, Hirace, I guess. Solitary. Lunacoil, Live from the Apocalypse. Light the Torch, You Will Be the Death of Me, which is probably going to be one I'll check out based on the singles that have come out so far. Motorhead, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, 40th Anniversary Edition. Parallax Occlusion, Ray Traces of Death. Pestilence with Exitum, I guess. I don't know. Stoner with Stoner's Rule. Suadakra with Wolfbite. Thy Catafalque with Vadak. We have Urn with Serpent and Spirit. We have various artists, another compilation. Black Waves of Adrenochrome, the Sisters of Mercy tribute. We have White Ward with Debomir Morty. That's an EP for them. We have Wild Street with 3. And we have Withered with Verloren. So quite the list of stuff coming out for June 25th. So, Jason, we may have the pick of the litter as far as what we may want to listen to next week. It looks like we may have our work cut out for us a little bit.
We're going to rock, paper, scissors over Light the Torch, right?
I'll tell you what we'll do. I will let you do the formal review, but I'm definitely going to listen to it.
No, it doesn't matter. Like I already knew we were both going to listen to it. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely probably pick out. Like I say, there's a bunch of shit coming out, so I'll probably try to do what I normally do and go with a band I haven't heard before and do a formal review on that. But I'm definitely checking out that Light the Torch because, like I say, based on the singles that have come out, that's probably going to be killer.
Awesome. Well, I guess with that being said, I guess we can conclude the show for this week.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say to people out there before we take off?
Well, like, nothing out of the ordinary. Just want to, just want to say thanks to everybody who came by. David Green, I hate that you don't, I hate that you don't really care for live things, but like I say, you can always check us out on the rebroadcast after. But everybody who did come by and listen to us live today, just want to say thank you. We appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out with us live. And even if you do check us out on the rebroadcast after, we appreciate that too. As always, you can come by the Metalheads Unite Facebook group and check us out there. We do post stuff during the week. A lot of times it's mostly new release videos and stuff like that. Like I say, we'll post the new Bullet for My Valentine video there, so you guys can check it out there. If you want to join the group, just send us a member request. We'll get you guys approved. But as always, thanks for coming by, and check us out next week.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Like I said, like Chris said, we appreciate you guys stopping by and spending your Saturday mornings with us for even if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the whole 2 hours, whichever, whatever it may
Right.
be. We appreciate whatever time you put in.
Yep.
We really enjoy doing this for you guys, and I hope all of you enjoy us as well. With that being said, make sure you keep those horns held high, no matter who invented them. And jump in the pit.
Yeah, whoever invented them. Yeah.
Whoever. And then jump in that pit anytime you can. Until then, we'll see you next week right here.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you very much.